Why do they doubt the kid? I'm about to prove them all wrong again. I got a low tolerance, cause they don't even know what the problem is. It's me. You waiting on the boy to fail, then hold your breath and face your death. Cause you play a roulette with each step I progress, no less. Go ahead and place your bets, cause we know who we at, we know we top tier. Cause all the hate that you bring, we know it stops here. I'm taking off like a rocket here and stopping here. It's strange how they cannot see the future but see profit here. Wait up, we gon' always win. Tell 'em I can't take no loss. My team hold no L's, no. Aiming for the top, can't make it by myself.
Oh, yes, a Friday show. Oh, man, I just came in. The glasses. I'm sorry. I'm not this cool. I'm sorry. I hate the way I see it. I'm like, oh, God. It'll lighten up. I'll become normal in just a second. Super Sunday this weekend. I know a lot of you probably don't care about the Super Bowl. Some of you do. I want the Seahawks to win. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on it. I want the Seahawks to win. And I think it's two things really, but mainly it's just an extension of my hate for Boston area fans. I don't like Celtics fans, definitely don't like Red Sox fans. I think I just don't like Boston area teams. I don't like the Bruins. I don't like Boston area teams. I don't think any of us like the fans of these Boston area teams. Scott, you can get on board with that being a Yankees fan. I think it's just a little bit of Boston hate coming out now, but I also want to see Sam Darnold do something special. This guy got crapped on by Scotty's Jets. They have no idea how to develop quarterback talent, period. Cost Robert Saleh his job, right? Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, all that stuff is true, Brett. Very good. I will say with all this Boston hate, I'm going to Boston in like 2 weeks.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you can hate in person.
Yeah, it's a wonderful city. It's actually one of the nicest cities I've ever been to.
Oh, crap. So if there's a possibility.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I could be there. Yeah.
City for the parade. If they win, you can be right there for the parade.
Yeah, I might just miss it, but yeah, I would definitely not show up.
They would be pretty damned excited.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's go Seahawks. Let's go Sam Darnold. Let's go Puppy Bowl 22. I'm really excited about the disabled division. That has the potential to get extremely adorable. All right.
So cute.
All right. We got a ton of things to get to today. It's a Friday show. Let's get right to it. First, oh, yeah, Sky, the videos. Yeah. So this is a little two-parter. Okay, so here's the thing, and I'll tell you in a second, Scott, when I hit that. Here's the thing. Republicans subpoenaed Bill and Hillary Clinton over the Epstein files. All right, you may not know that. We mentioned on the show, maybe you didn't catch it, so maybe you weren't a fan then. Maybe you hadn't heard. They had been subpoenaed by the Republicans in the Oversight Committee to testify. Okay, they have been stiff-arming it. They have been delaying it. Finally, they said, you know what? We're not going to delay it anymore. We agree. We agree to your closed-door hearing. So the Oversight Committee is going to have a closed-door hearing with Bill and Hillary Clinton. Hillary, to her credit, she says, let's do this in public. And this isn't the first time we've had this exact scenario play out. We just watched it with Jack Smith. So like Jack Smith's, Hillary says, you want to get me behind closed doors? Let's hear what I have to say in public. Quote, for 6 months, we engaged Republicans on the Oversight Committee in good faith. We told them what we know under oath. They ignored all of it. They moved the goalposts and turned accountability into an exercise in distraction. So let's stop the games. If you want this fight, James Comer, let's have it in public. You love to talk about transparency. There's nothing more transparent than a public hearing, cameras on. Man, she still gives good talk, doesn't she? She still knows how to do it. She is sharp still, not rusty. James Comer responds. He says the Clintons would not be treated any differently than anyone else and said the subpoenas called for their depositions to be taken by the committee, not for a public hearing. But he says this, if they get through the depositions and they still want a public hearing, we'll try to do something. Okay. What James Comer's doing is running a little bit of needed interference for Don because Don doesn't seem to get it. He doesn't seem to understand how narrowly he averted disaster by getting those, the Jack Smith volume 2 of his investigation, the one about the documents sealed That was a close call getting that stuff sealed. Because had it not been sealed, Jack Smith would have sat in that hearing publicly and spilled the beans about all the hardcore evidence he had against Donald Trump. And here we go again. Don doesn't get it. Or does he? Or does he? Here's what he had to say all of a sudden. Listen to Don all of a sudden about the Clintons. I mean, don't forget, lock her up, this and that, Benghazi, the attacks. Don't forget how vehemently he has gone at both of them. And all of a sudden, when she says, let's hear what I have to say publicly, now this is Don's tune on Bill and Hillary.
But it bothers me that somebody's going after Bill Clinton. See, I like Bill Clinton. I still like Bill.
What do you like about him?
I liked his behavior toward me. I thought he got me, he understood me, but
oh man, that's one? Oh. I like Bill Clinton all of a sudden. I mean, we're just talking a couple months ago when he was getting all frothed up about Bill Clinton's names put up in the Epstein files. I like Bill Clinton. All right, what else you got to say, Don?
Today we heard that the Clintons set deposition dates to testify before the House Oversight Committee. Any reaction to that related to the Epstein?
I think it's a shame, to be honest.
What?
I always liked him. Her, yeah. She's a very capable woman. She was better in debating than some of the other people, I will tell you that. She was smart woman. I hate to see it in many ways. I hate to see it. But, then I look at me. They went after me like, they wanted me to go to jail for the rest of my life. Then it turned out I was innocent, very innocent. I had a friend that said, a very smart friend, he's a very wealthy man, knows the life, streetwise guy. He said, you have to be the most honest person anywhere in the world because there's never been anybody who's been examined up and down. I had hundreds of thousands of pages of documents, millions of pages. With all of that, they found absolutely nothing wrong. Remember, his tax returns always...
Okay. When they examine you, Don, they find payouts to porn stars. They find hundreds of millions of dollars of inflated wealth fraudulently. They find 36 counts of sexual assault to be proven true. They find $2 billion grifts with the UAE royal family. They find your name in the Epstein files 38,000 times. They find you lied to the American public in your first presidency 36,000 times. Actually, Don, when they take a close look, they find a heck of a lot. Mr. Must be the most honest ever. But look at this now. All of a sudden, it's a shame they're bringing in Hillary and Bill Clinton to talk openly. For the first time, Don is picking up what senior Republican leadership is putting down. Comer's like, well, we'll see if we can get to that public hearing. Let's see if they make it through. And now Don's saying, yeah, that's a shame because I like them. And she's so smart and capable. Not dumb and unqualified and dim and all these things you called her during the debates and during that presidential campaign. All the nasty words you had for her then. Now she's smart and capable. He doesn't want them talking openly. Comer knows he doesn't want that. They already may have taken this too damn far, as Hillary and Bill Clinton are like, you know what? We love that subpoena idea. We tried to get it in public. But since you won't do that yet, yeah, let's talk about it. Bill and Hillary want to talk about it now. And that scares Comer and even more Don Trump. And this is the type of crap that comes out of his mouth now that he's scared about what Hillary might say in public. How about that? Maybe he did learn a lesson or two along the way. Maybe that Jack Smith hearing really did scare the crap out of him. Now, we move on. This guy, Don, shares a video, about a minute video, depicting Zoran Mamdani, Kamala Harris, Biden, Hillary, all as different animals in this video that he posted. They're all different animals. It also had Barack and Michelle Obama depicted as giant apes. Yep, let that sink in. Depicted as giant apes. It was all animated. They were animated and dancing behind a jungle background to the soundtrack of The Lion Sleeps Tonight. Just really classy, tasteful stuff you expect out of the Oval Office. For sure. Carolyn Levitt sent out to do the thing because, like everything he does, it's way too much and offensive and demands explanation. And she's the one to, she's the first one to come out and tell the lies. And she does. This is from an internet meme video depicting President Trump as the king of the jungle and Democrats as characters from The Lion King. Please stop the fake outrage and report on something today that actually matters to the American public. I mean, honestly, more than anything, it just shows how little guardrails, how little chance there is for anyone near this man to reel him in or stop him from this kind of behavior at all. There are no guardrails. The emperor truly has no clothes. I mean, this is crazy that this gets through whatever buffers there should have been. Like, it's just insane. So Carolyn Levitt has to come out and tell us we didn't just see what we saw. We didn't just see a depiction of Barack and Michelle Obama as apes. We didn't see that. We're dummies. We're being sensitive. It's fake outrage. It's fake outrage. By the way, that night, I guess he was on some really good Adderall, some really good stuff, because he was on one. He was on one around midnight, a slew. And he hit all the hits, all the popular ones, all the big ones. Voter fraud, Julian Assange, WikiLeaks, claiming Democrats are anti-Christ, anti-family, anti-black, anti-life. And he even did a little ditty about trash collection in New York. Scott, you're looking at it?
Yeah, I'm just going through his Truth Social right now, and like everything was 12 hours ago, 13 hours ago, and it's everything you just described and more. I mean, wow.
This guy. And so it's so distasteful, so offensive and racist that even the one black Republican in the Senate, he couldn't even keep his mouth shut. I mean, you want to talk about complicit. You want to talk about all of the tropes that could be leveled at Tim Scott at this point, considering the racist, to be mild, policy of this government, of this administration, and Tim Scott just going right along with all of it. Well, this was just too racist for even Tim Scott. He wrote on X, he hoped that the post was fake because it's the most racist thing I've seen out of the White House. The president should remove it. He's even, he gave a little out there. Hey, it could be AI, Mr. President. Try that on for size. It could be fake, right? Please tell me it's fake. Please, Don, tell me it's fake. It's insanely racist. You say you're not racist, but the racists think you're racist, no doubt. Tim Scott. Better be careful, Tim. Calling out the president for his obviously racist behavior. You better be careful, bud. And remove all those mirrors in your house. All right. Oh, yeah. Yes, Scott.
One funny thing I noticed from looking, unfortunately, at his Truth Social is he double posts a lot of things. Meaning, like, he'll post the same video twice, like back to back. Like he's not sure if he sent it the first time, so he hits it again. Because like there's some things that are posted just once, but there's multiple things that are just like there's a video of Bruce Lee just like using the nunchucks. I don't understand the context behind it, but he posted it twice. Like,
cocaine's a hell of a drug, man. Whatever he's on, Adderall, cocaine, whatever it is, it's an upper. It's an upper. And when he's on them, he's upper. And when he's down, he's really down and kind of sleepy, frankly. You say you're not racist, but the racists think you're racist, Don. The racists think you're racist. I mean, couple that with all of the racist and, white supremacist tropes that come out of your DHS's propaganda machine, stuff that shows up on government websites, But honestly, it really does just highlight how there is absolutely no one home. Did they take it down? Okay, so did Tim Scott have an effect? Was he going about his business and somebody was like, "Sir, Tim Scott called your post racist," and he's like, "Whoa, Tim said that? Tim did? Maybe we have a problem here."
Breaking news, breaking rules, breaking through. Back to Brett Breaks Things.
All right. We're going to do another fun one. We're having fun here on a Friday. We're going to do another fun one. And this little piece of reporting out of Aaron Blake from CNN.com. Aaron is trolling. Anytime you take inventory of their lies in the face of each other's lies, right? And how their lies don't line up. They can't get them straight. The changing narratives, the floundering, the public, the things they say in public that just don't line up, just don't make sense. When you take them all together and line them up and expose this administration, you're trolling them, really. Not that they care. Lying does not bother their base, but we like to highlight the lies. We like to talk about the lies. And there's been so much lying from so many places lately in the administration, just so much. So right now, we are going to take a little bit of an inventory, and we're going to we're going to dive a little bit more into Tulsi. Tulsi. We're not going to talk about the whistleblower report that was locked in a safe because it was so damn sensitive, or all of Scott and I's theories connected to what's in that report. We're not going to talk about that right now. We did that. We're all caught up on that. And Tulsi's lies and how she stiff-armed the report, and the ICIGs dragged it along, and now it's in the hands of the Gang of Eight. We're going to let that mature. We're going to let that blossom. We're going to talk more about what they're saying about her involvement in the elections and fraud detection and seizing of ballots. Okay? Because this is becoming more and more relevant, and it will continue to be more relevant and urgent as we get closer to November. And the things that are, whatever grift this administration attempts to put into place concerning that election is happening now. It will be too late to start exposing things for the first time come September. That will be too late. It's important we see the machinations as they develop now, and they are developing right now. And that is why we're highlighting this so much, and we're doing a great job of doing it. Our audience is absolutely caught up on the different levels of this grift, and at the top of this, God, I just can't stop highlighting how Scott Leindecker buying those Dominion machines is at the top of this grift, and how that will become the focal point of the grift going forward. But they have to set things up. They have to put the dominoes where they go before they make them fall. One of those dominoes was seizing the 2020 ballots in Fulton County, Georgia. That one's a two-pronged attack. One, it's going to allow them to set up possibly taking people from the voter rolls, adjusting the numbers or the data of the registration itself, or accusing the election officials in Fulton before another big-time election, painting them as criminals, painting them as fraudsters. That's one. Two, it's his ego. He just can't let it go. He cannot let it go that he got soundly defeated there in 2020. He can't let it go. It's got to be fraud because he's so damn bigly, strongly, and quickly. And Tulsi was there. So, when asked about this, when asked about why she was there, when multiple people were asked about this, they said multiple things in succession. Let's take a look at what their lies look like right now, lined up against each other. Let's hear it now. We're going to take you right through their lies on why Tulsi was there. And the real sad part is none of this lying was necessary, but we'll get to that. First, last Thursday, CNN asked Trump Why was Gabbard there? At the seizing of the ballots in Fulton County. Why was she there? Trump said at the time, she's working very hard on trying to keep the election safe, and she's done a very good job. And they, as you know, they got into the votes. You got a signed judge's order in Georgia, and you're going to see some interesting things happen. Dud. Nothing to say there. Nothing to see there. Nothing to say there. No explanations. Not even a mention, really. Just a talking point. That didn't get it done. Didn't get it done, and more people started asking more questions. So the next day, they follow a theme that they've been following lately, which is sending Todd Blanche in front of the cameras more and more often, which is not really working out for you. He'll tell the lie, but he seems to be a little more prone to getting flustered, like Mike Johnson does. Some of them just aren't as poised liars as, a Bondi or a Patel or a Trump. Some of them aren't as good at this whole lying to the cameras thing, although he's willing to do it for sure. So a day later, out comes Todd Blanche. And he says this. She happened to be present in Atlanta, making it sound more coincidental than anything else. She happened to be there in Atlanta. Hard stop. Okay? So the reporter pressed him at the time. The reporter pressed him, and Blanche said initially, and then the reporter pressed him, and he said, we are working together as an administration on election integrity type issues. Still no explanation why the DNI would be there. So he went on Dana Bash's show on Sunday. After that, he went on Dana Bash's show on Sunday and said, I don't know why the director was there. Oh, now you're falling apart, Todd. Now you're coming apart at the seams. That's not what we talked about, Todd. Come on. You didn't even try. Then he went on Fox on Monday night, and his tripping and stumbling over all of this crescendos into a flat-out lie. First of all, she wasn't at the search. She was in the area where the search took place. She's not part of this investigation. Wow. You really, really screwed that up, Todd. And they have to go behind you. And when I say they, I mean they. All of them had to go in behind you after a flat-out lie. You just fumbled it. Okay. So, soon, I'm talking right after Blanche's interview, Gabbard went on, Gabbard posted a letter. Right after Blanche's lie, somebody called Tulsi and said, you need to clean this up right now. We all need to clean this up right now. This has gotten worse over the last 3 days, not better. Clean it up. So she posts a letter to congressional Democrats. And in that letter, she said that her presence was requested by the president. She goes on. She said she had accompanied top FBI officials in observing FBI personnel executing that search warrant. Well, basically, she said Todd's lying to you or is a giant jerk off. He absolutely doesn't get it, or he's lying to you. You take whichever one you're more comfortable with. He just told you earlier today that I wasn't there executing the search. And I'm here to tell you, I escorted top FBI officials to execute that search. That part's amazing to me. I love that. How much are you going to still keep pushing Todd Blanche in front of cameras? I mean, this is a spectacular fail. Are you still going to use this guy to push the talking points at your own detriment, at your own peril? Hilarious. So Carolyn Levitt comes in behind this Gabbard letter. She comes in behind. She said that Trump had tapped Gabbard to oversee the sanctity and the security of our American elections, and said she is working directly alongside the FBI director. So in that one, she basically, well, Trump had dodged it up till now. He had dodged it, claimed he didn't know much about it. Gabbard and Blanche said she wasn't even there. Levitt comes in behind all of this and says, okay, yes, she was there. She executed the search, and the president had personally tapped her. President had picked her. Wednesday. What does the president say on Wednesday? After the Carolyn Levitt press conference? I'm not involved in it, but they are inspecting and checking the ballots. Why was Gabbard there? I don't know. Then suggested Gabbard's presence made sense given the prospect of international cheating. That's the part right there. That's the only thing in here that was necessary in the face of all of this. You didn't need any of this lying, any of the Carolyn Levitt explanation, the letter from Gabbard, and all of the subsequent lying we're about to hear. You didn't need any of it. All you had to say, Don, was, look, we think there's going to be evidence of international meddling and interference. Hard stop. You got your warrant. You got your ballots. No more explanation on why you needed to get your hands on them were really necessary. You only had to explain to us why Tulsi the DNI was there. You could have simply just said what you said right there. Suggesting Gabbard's presence made sense given the prospect of international cheating. That's all you ever had to say. But yet he comes out and lies. I'm not involved with it. I don't know. Hold on. Yeah, just give me, we're going to go along. I don't know. So the next morning, here we go. I said subsequent lying, right? So on Wednesday, the president says, I'm not involved. I don't know. Thursday, he goes to a national prayer breakfast with Pam Bondi. And this is what he says at the prayer breakfast. This is what he says. Gabbard took a lot of heat because she went at Pam's insistence. She went in and she looked at votes and that want to be checked out from Georgia. She came in, took a look at the votes that we want to check out from Georgia. Pam sent him. He turned around. He said the media asked, why is she doing it? Right, Pam? Because Pam wanted her to do it. And you know why? Because Pam's so smart. Then later Thursday. So in that breakfast, he says Pam did it. Later Thursday, Gabbard's office releases another statement. Tulsi does. There's no contradiction. As the president said, he asked for Director Gabbard to be there. This is the office. A spokesman for the office of Tulsi Gabbard released this statement. The president, he asked for Director Gabbard to be there. Attorney General Bondi also asked for her to be there. Two things can be true at the same time. You are a bunch of liars. Why did President Trump say he knew nothing about it and had nothing to do with it if he had asked her to go? And why did he not just mention Pam's request at the beginning of all this? It's because they're lying and trying to spin it, and they're lying some more off the back of that and saying, oh, that didn't take, let's spin it some more. What new and fresh lies can we tell in the face of our old stale lies that nobody's believing? That's what you just watched. Levitt came out and tried to clean it up. Yeah. And finally, this is what Levitt said late Thursday afternoon. Basically, get good with our lies. We're done explaining ourselves. That's the paraphrasing. But I'll give you what she said. I've seen a lot of the media in this room get very caught up in the semantics of why Tulsi was there. I will tell you why. And the president agrees with this because election security is essential to national security. Basically, American people, free press, Middle finger. We're done giving you lies. They didn't work. You didn't buy it. You didn't want it. We tripped over our own lies. It didn't go well. So you know what? No more lies for you. We think it's in the best interest of national security. Shut your mouths. I'm Carolyn Levitt. Out. Not going to address all of the previous lying that had gone on over the course of one full week. Doesn't want to address it at all. But here's the thing. They're doing all this lying for a reason about why Gabbard was there. Specifically, why Don did or did not ask her to go. And the reason is, if any prosecutions should come from this, if there are any charges against the election officials in Fulton County, Georgia, their lawyers will file motions to dismiss because of vindictive prosecution. That's why these lies matter. That's why they're tripping over themselves to get them straight. Because there are real world consequences to this. If those magistrate judges in the Comey and James's case, if they hadn't thrown that out because of Lindsay, they would have thrown them out because of vindictive prosecution. And now Trump's setting himself up for the same fate here.
We'll be back to break it all down. You're listening to Brett Breaks Things. Brett Breaks Things. Fighting for America, one mic drop at a time.
Okay. All right. So we have properly documented this administration's lies on this topic. Mark Warner, he spoke about it. Senator Mark Warner. He's a Democrat from Virginia. He spoke about it. He said in an emailed statement Tuesday, while Director Gabbard's letters attempt to justify her presence at the Fulton County search, it raises more questions than it answers. Senator Warren plans to continue pressing for accountability. All right, so it's on people's radars. And some more stuff is getting on people's radar. You see, this isn't the first raid that Tulsi has taken part in. Not the first one. How about that? She, in late spring of last year, right around May-ish, right around the time of that whistleblower complaint, right around the time that Tulsi's, her job went from, what her office is supposed to do, the DNI and intelligence, foreign intelligence, guiding the president's policy and intelligence gathering in foreign nations, went from that to election integrity, right all around the same time. And one of the first things she did in her new role, she didn't have a role in the Iran strikes. She didn't have a role in unseating Maduro, right? She didn't have a role in any of that. She had a role in election all of a sudden, a shifting of her responsibility rather than firing her. Let's wait for this whistleblower complaint to go public. But this shift, right around the time that this shift took place, she heads to Puerto Rico. Now, she heads to Puerto Rico with the FBI. We are going to hear from 3 sources that were at the raid. 3 sources within the FBI that were at the raid that talked to Reuters. We're going to hear from sources and we're going to hear from Gabbard. But here's what happened. They went to Puerto Rico and they took all of the voting machines. They claimed hacking. And they took and seized all the voting machines in Puerto Rico. And they wanted to analyze them. Here's what the 3 sources say about seizing these Puerto Rican voting machines. This is what the sources, all 3 sources agreed to this. The goal was to work with the FBI to investigate claims that Venezuela had hacked voting machines in Puerto Rico, and added the probe did not produce any clear evidence of Venezuelan interference in the U.S. territories' elections. So one, they said the FBI in Tulsi went there to prove Venezuelan hacking. Two, they couldn't find any. That's what the three sources say. What does Tulsi say? Tulsi confirmed the May investigation, but denied any links at all to Venezuela. Denied it. Denied they were going to look into Venezuelan hacking, even though three separate sources say that's exactly what they were there for. Just more lying out of Tulsi. No big deal. Just more lying. She said it was focused on vulnerabilities in the island's electronic voting systems, and her team took an unspecified number of Puerto Rico's voting machines and additional copies of data from the machines as part of its investigation. So it raises the question, why were you there? Why were you really there? You say Venezuela wasn't a part of this. You say it's to probe its integrity. Then why were you there? What the sources are saying lends some explanation to why you might be there, but you're contradicting those sources. Her office released a statement saying the taking of the voting machines and data was standard practice in forensic analysis. If it's standard practice in forensic analysis to determine the integrity of domestic election tabulation, then why are you there, DNI? Then why are you there? So it added that ODNI found extremely concerning cybersecurity and operational deployment practices that pose a significant risk to U.S. elections. That's what they say. There it is. We've got the machines, and we've found irregularities. We've found cybersecurity risks that could be exploited by foreign entities, possibly. That's why I'm there. That's why I'm there. Venezuela did not comment on that. Nobody in Venezuela wanted to comment. Okay? Here's what the three sources say alongside it. We went there for Venezuela. We found nothing. Here's what they also said. They said the Puerto Rican operation appeared to be part of an effort by Trump administration officials to pursue unproven allegations of voting fraud. The preoccupation with voter fraud dates to Trump's re-election loss in 2020, and he has not abated. All of them, of course, anonymous. You better be anonymous. End up in the back of a Cadillac. Okay. Mark Warner had something to say about this as well. Now, don't forget, he's the top Democrat on the Senate Intelligence Panel. Mark Warner. He said, what's most alarming here is the Director Gabbitt's own team acknowledges there was no evidence of foreign interference, yet they seized voting machines and election data anyway. He's going to go ahead and believe the sources, Mark is. As am I. Absent a foreign nexus, intelligence agencies have absolutely no lawful role in domestic election administration. This is exactly the kind of overreach Congress wrote the law to prevent, and it raises profound questions about whether our intelligence tools are being abused. I bring you these quotes by Warner because I want to assure you that somebody is looking at this. When I tell you these things and I point out clear constitutional violations, I want you to understand that some people with some amount of power, when it comes to a Mark Warner, some amount of power, is looking at this. He's paying attention to it. He wants to raise awareness to it. That is a good thing. That is why I bring you these quotes from Mark Warner and others like him. So Gabbert was forced to respond to Mr. Warner's comments. Forced to respond. And she said Her office had the authority to carry out the investigation. Boom. Given ODNI's broad statutory authority to coordinate, integrate, and analyze intelligence related to election security and our own known work on understanding vulnerabilities to foreign and other malign interference, ODNI conducted an examination of electronic voting systems used in Puerto Rico's elections. Remember, Puerto Rico does not they are U.S. citizens, but they do not have voting representation in Congress. Keep that in mind. And they also cannot vote in presidential general elections. So keep that in mind as we discuss this. This analyzing, this probing. Okay, they said they found extremely concerning cybersecurity and operational deployment practices. That's what they say. There are many methods they could be using to legitimately try to find out what's going on with these machines. They could examine the hardware, they could be examining the firmware, reverse engineering the software used, and of course checking for weaknesses in their security, the probing they're talking about. But former intelligence officials, they're saying this is not ODNI's job. This is not the DNI's job. They are not experienced, qualified to be doing this type of work. That is for the states and Puerto Rico to handle. And one former senior U.S. official said this is well beyond what they have the authority to do. This is amateur hour.
Breaking politics, breaking narratives, breaking news. But first, we need a coffee break. Breaking news, breaking rules, breaking through. Back to Brett Breaks Things.
Okay, so I'm going to move quickly here. We're going to keep it moving. We're going to keep it moving on this voter data topic. We're going to keep it Oscar Mike. Let's orient ourselves. That's what we like to do here. Let's deal with the numbers, deal with the facts, see what we're looking at here. We're talking about seizing ballots. They want the voter data, right? Trump, conspiracy theorist and ally, Scott Linedecker buys all the Dominion machines. Get ready. More voter data, more fraud accusations and claims are going to come from that. And they're also going on a campaign of getting the data from the states personally. Just, you hand it to me. You hand it to us. You hand it to the administration. Okay? They asked 44 states plus the District of Columbia to hand over their voter data. Okay? They want all the data. They want it all. They told 44 states to hand it over. 10 states said, here you go. 2 others said, we're just about to give them to you. No problem. We'll give them to you. The administration is suing 24 other states to make them give up the data. The 10 states that have just handed it over already are Alaska, Arkansas, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Nebraska, South Dakota, Texas, Utah, Wyoming. I think we can all agree that those 10 states, Utah, by the way, Utah and Tennessee have agreed. Tennessee's on there as well. They've agreed. That's 12 in total. I think you could agree that those are red-ass states. Maybe not all of them ruby red, like a Tennessee or Louisiana or Mississippi, but like Alaska, red enough, right? They're all red states. And their state officials have handed over the voter data. We're talking about 37 million American voters. Their data has just been handed over. I want to stop real quick and ask MAGA Republicans, Trump loyalists, loyal conservative Republicans, whoever you are, I just gotta know. When will you stop giving him everything? He has taken everything from you. When will this end? What are you getting in return? He is taking everything. He has taken your money. Nothing's more affordable. Tariffs. Trump Bible, Trump shoes, Trump watch, he takes your money. He takes your dignity. He's taking your civil rights. He's trying to take your guns, it seems like. He's separating you from your families. Those members of your family who just can't abide by you parroting his lies and defending this administration. He's separating you from your families. Now he wants all your info, and he wants to take away your vote, basically, by rigging this next election. He wants it all from you. When will you stop giving him everything? So those 12 states are handing over everything. He's suing 24. But not only is he requesting that they give him the data, the DOJ is also requesting that the states that hand over the data sign a confidential memorandum of understanding. A confidential memorandum of understanding. Now, not even all of these red states have agreed to this little ditty. Tennessee said, I don't know. No. South Dakota said, I'll give you the data, but I'm not signing this confidential memorandum of understanding. We know about this memorandum because Colorado made it public when they requested Colorado's data and sent them this charming little memorandum. Colorado said, what the hell is this? And told the world. Only reason we know about it. This memorandum says the DOJ is going to conduct its own analysis of your state's voter files, and then it's going to give these states a list of voters they are to purge from their registration within 45 days. There's the ball game. There's why they want the data. There's why they want the Fulton County ballots. They want the Puerto Rican ballots. They want all your voter data. They want to take it and secretly do an analysis and then say, here's the names we found to be fraudulent. Get rid of all of them right now. You signed the memorandum. Purge. And not even all the red states are on board with this little purge, okay? The memorandum says it will test, analyze, and assess states' voter rolls, and each participating state must get these people off their rolls in 45 days. It says nothing about how they will examine these voter rolls, and it says it will not give the states any reason for the people who are on the list to be on the list. No reasons are going to be given. Here's your list. Shut up. Purge them. You signed the memorandum. Here's the problem with this little memorandum. It breaks two clear National Voter Registration Act laws. It violates the National Voter Registration Act in two distinct ways. One, there is a specific process a state must undergo to remove you from a voter roll, okay? It involves sending a notice to the voter. If the voter doesn't respond and does not vote, the jurisdiction, wherever they're registered, must wait 2 election cycles to remove them from the voter rolls. All right? That's the law concerning removing them from the voter rolls, as far as a notice that needs to be given and the time it takes to actually remove them constitutionally by law. The other violation of the National Voter Registration Act that perpetrated by this memorandum is that there is a quiet period before any federal primary or general election. There's a quiet period. It's a 90-day period that no matter what is taking place, no matter what investigations, analysis is going on, no matter what's going on, for 90 days prior to a federal election, you cannot purge the voter rolls. Can't add, can't take off, none of it. Quiet period, okay? Cannot conduct a systematic removal of voters according to the National Voter Registration Act within 90 days of the election. Period. Breaks 2 laws. Boom. Also, in this memorandum, okay, it says that it's going to be confidential within the DOJ, this information. And what information are we talking about? Full names, addresses, date of birth, driver's license, and partial social security numbers. It says, hey, we're going to follow governmental safeguards with this information, but it has a stipulation in the agreement, and that stipulation, great reporting, by the way, great reporting on this to uncover this by the Brennan Center. The Brennan Center got a hold of this little stipulation. All of that data I just told you may be provided to a contractor for work related to the department's list maintenance and verification procedure. And that such a contractor is not bound by any federal guidelines or regulations concerning the transparency of this info, the security of it. Not bound. So basically, they're telling you, we may just give all of this data to a contractor, like the audit company Cyber Ninjas who audited in Arizona, right? We took a look at the voter. We got a separate company here to come in and take a look at these voter rolls because there was fraud. They might go and get a third-party contract, an auditor, right? And say, hey, come take a look at these voter rolls. And those contractors are not bound by any federal guidelines. It's in the agreement. It's in the agreement. I will tell you there's some good news coming from this. It's already suffering losses. Like I said, 24 states are being sued by the DOJ to hand over the voter rolls. Well, there have been losses in Oregon. There was a loss in California. All right? See, here's the thing. The administration is leaning on the Civil Rights Act of 1960, an interpretation of it. This is their explanation for why they can do what they're doing. They say that in the Civil Rights Act of 1960, it grants the DOJ authority to collect information. Under law, the Attorney General is permitted to request records relating to any application, registration payment of poll tax, and other act and anything else requisite to voting in such election. So basically, they're saying that the DOJ, the Attorney General, is allowed under the Civil Rights Act of 1960 to request this information from the states. But here's the rub. They are required to provide basis and purpose for getting this information. And judges are finding that they are not providing any basis or purpose for grabbing your social security number and your driver's license and your address. No basis, no purpose. District Judge David O. Carter, who's a Clinton appointee in California, he dismissed the DOJ's case flat out. Dismissed it. Lawsuit gone. Okay? He said, while the DOJ has told this court that its purpose for demanding these sensitive voter information in California is voter roll maintenance, enforcement, and compliance, representations made by the DOJ elsewhere paint a starkly different picture that this court can't ignore. The DOJ's campaign to collect sensitive voter data paints an alarming picture regarding the centralization of Americans' information within the executive branch. He just calls it right out. The president wants to pursue his retribution agenda and fraudulent, conspiracy theories using your data to do it, and I'm not having it. Not here, not in California. That's basically what he said. So, and by the way, we are going overtime. We're going to get to a couple more things. But so here's the deal, right? Let's long game it. We like to long game these things here on this show. Let's long game it. Will the DOJ go on a campaign of appeal? Every single lawsuit that gets defeated in each state, will they appeal them all? And will these appeals culminate to a Supreme Court ruling? Right? Will it go to the Supreme Court? Well, the Constitution is very clear. Elections are to be administered by states. Period. Doesn't mince words. And it's very clear that this memorandum, this request, it violates two separate National Voting Registration Act laws. Violates them. This is all very clear. And how long will such a ruling take? Now, we've got a couple of avowed constitutionalists on this Supreme Court, especially Amy Coney Barrett. She loves to point back at the Constitution time and time and time again and talk about how literal it should be interpreted. Well, this is pretty literal, Amy. I'm curious how they would rule on this and how long that would take. So, are we dodging a bullet, right? Are we dodging a bullet and it won't get to this? Are we dodging a bullet and these courts in these blue states are striking down this lawsuit and the sycophantic red states are handing over the information? Does that matter? Could we have gotten any of those states that I mentioned, right? Tennessee, Mississippi, Louisiana, Kansas. Could we have gotten any of these states? Does this matter? It only matters if the Supreme Court should quickly decide that the administration has the right to this data. That is the only way this matters, because I submit we would have never got those states anyway. And this is what you get. You want to be a red state? You want to fall in lockstep with this administration, explain away everything it does, get good with all of the unconstitutionality coming out of this administration. You want to be a red stater, you want to be a MAGA Republican, this is what you get. Now they've got all your data. Too bad for you. Because blue state representation is fighting it. Will they win? Does it matter? Well, it only matters, right, if the Supreme Court says they can have it. Only matters if the Supreme Court says they can have it. So, we're going to have to wait and see. Are the losses in these 24 lawsuits going to pile up? And if they do, what will be the administration's response to that? Will it be a campaign in those appellate courts that Trump has packed so nicely? We're coming back for overtime.
It's time for a quick break. Then we break some more. You're listening to Brett Breaks Things. Now back to Brett Breaks Things, smashing spin, silencing the noise, and keeping it all facts. No fluff.
All right. So just to put a hat on that little election topic, this letter came from Kelly M. Hardiman. She's our FBI election executive. She sent this letter to the 50 states, secretaries of states that are ultimately in charge of the election in each state. She sent this. To prepare for the 2026 U.S. midterm elections, your election partners at the FBI, DOJ, DHS, USPIS, which is the United States Postal Inspection Service, and the EAC, which is the Election Assistance Commission, would like to invite you to a call where we can discuss our preparation for the cycle as well as updates and resources we can provide to you and your staff. The call will be on Wednesday, February 25th, 2 p.m. Eastern, and will be for chief election officials. You may designate a proxy to attend in your place if you're not available. All right. Your immediate thought, is that regular? Is that normal? Hell no. Hell no. This is highly irregular, especially coming after your president said we should nationalize elections. The FBI had no comment on this. But Secretary of State Cisco Aguilar from Nevada did have something to say about this right after this letter went out. He said he's never heard of a conference call like this being organized by the FBI between state officials and federal agencies. He said after he received this email, he wrote back and said, "Is this real? Given what's occurred over the last 2 weeks, I'm concerned." Oh, we're all concerned. We're all concerned. So let's just be aware that the FBI, DOJ, DHS, and all of these entities are about to get on the phone with our 50 secretaries of states and tell them what's what about this upcoming election cycle. Give them guidance, provide assistance. We'll see what that guidance and what that assistance looks like. We'll see what it looks like. We'll see. I want to just cap off overtime and send you into the weekend with this. We talked about Trump withholding funding, right? Withholding funding from projects in New York and, by extension, New Jersey. This guy. So he withheld how much funding? It was billions. It was billions of dollars. $16 billion of funding for the Gateway Project, connecting New York and New Jersey through by a rail tunnel beneath the Hudson River. And Russ Vought thought it was clever to just pull that funding. Just pull it, right? And this has been going on. It's been going on. The two states, both New York and New Jersey, sued the Trump administration over the freeze of the $16 billion for the project. Why? Because the commission in charge of the Gateway Tunnel project has warned that it will soon have to completely shut down its work. No more freeze, no more halting, and we'll see what happens. This thing will just be kiboshed real quickly, and it's going to have to lay off about 1,000 workers involved in it right now. They're going to have to just stop it all and kibosh it if Trump doesn't approve it. You know what Trump said? He told Chuck Schumer personally, just a little bit ago, hey, you want your funding for the Gateway Tunnel project? I'll give it to you. But you, Chuck Schumer, you have to rename New York's Penn Station and Washington's Dulles Airport after me. You do that, you get your funding. Mr. Dealmaker, Mr. Art of the Deal. Are you kidding me, this grift? Are you kidding me, the ego on this guy? The ego. Oh, man. Just crazy. Now, here's the thing. Let's just cut straight to the chase. He wants Chuck Schumer to make it happen, right? You make it happen, you get your $16 billion. Boom. Deal done. Donnie the Dealmaker. Congress would have to pass a bill. To change Penn Station or Dulles Airport. They'd have to pass legislation to change it. Chuck can't just make it happen. Can't just get it done. They have to pass a bill. And here's the part you didn't expect me to say. These wackos in Congress, these Republican wackos, have already introduced 2 separate bills to change the names for Trump. Trump Station and Trump International Airport. 2 separate wackos have introduced legislation to do just that. And failed. So now Don's just like, hey, Chuck, make it happen. Chuck, make it happen. Oh, is that bigly? Man, that is bigly and strongly. Very quickly. So let's catch up on some things that are being renamed for Trump. Why don't we do that real quick? As he's working on Dulles and Penn Station, what's got Don's name on it? All right. Well, you already know the Trump Kennedy Center, right? That's been the big one. And it got bigger. After he put his name on it, a bunch of influential artists, singers, musicians, they all said, you know what? We're going to have to miss that date we had set at the Kennedy Center. We're going to have to miss that. We're going to have to cancel that and cancel that one and cancel that one down the road. We can't make it anymore. Sorry. So many have canceled that now Trump has announced that they're going to shut down the Trump Kennedy Center for renovations, even though they just renovated it in 2019. They're going to shut it down again for renovations. No. They are getting embarrassed. They don't have any acts. Nobody wants to be in the Trump Kennedy Center performing. They wanted to go to the Kennedy Center to perform, and they're not complicit. How about that? So now we're going to have some renovations. All right, the Trump Kennedy Center. Okay. What about the U.S. Institute of Peace? See, this is how I know somebody in the administration has a sense of humor, right? It's dark humor, to be sure, but it's a sense of humor. The U.S. Institute of Peace Peace has now been rebranded the Donald J. Trump Institute of Peace. Trump is pressuring the Washington Commanders to make the new stadium. They got a brand new stadium coming, and they want that stadium to be named the Trump Commander Stadium. Trump Stadium, Trump Commander Stadium, whatever. It's going to have Trump's name in it. They're trying real hard. That's coming soon. The Interior Department, just last November, they unveiled a 2026 America the Beautiful National Park Pass. And on this National Park Pass, and many of you I'm sure have enjoyed National Park Passes. I know people who enjoy them, love the national parks, go to all of them and use the park passes to do so. The image on the brand new Park Pass is side-by-side images. See, this is that dark humor I'm talking about. Side-by-side images of Washington, George Washington, and Donald Trump. And that is to commemorate America's 250th anniversary. That is dark humor. Washington, one of the greatest Americans ever, after the war was over, said, you know what? Here's that nice army you assembled. It's going back to Congress for Congress to control, even though I could just not do that. Just handed it right back. Here's power. Here's all the military power back to Congress. What does Don do? Declares national emergencies and threatens insurrection acts and uses the National Guard as his little toy army and threatens putting active military personnel in cities to facilitate ISIS activities. Just a dark, dark joke by somebody in the administration, honestly. And about these park passes, by the way, it violates federal law under the 2004 Federal Lands Recreation Enhancement Act. According to that 2004 Act, the images on the park passes, that has to be the winner of an annual photo competition hosted by the National Park Foundation. And that contest is a program that National Park Foundation, it has raised millions of dollars in public land management. It is a huge boon for them. It's a huge, big deal for them, this competition. It's a big deal and people love it, except Trump. That's over with now, apparently, in violation of that act. And now it's just going to be Don and George Washington. Great. Great. Don't forget the Trump accounts for children. The Trump accounts for children, that's right. Parents with children who are born between 2025 and 2028 can apply to get $1,000 from the Treasury Department deposited into those children's Trump accounts. Awesome. Awesome. And the applicants on their IRS forms, they use IRS form 4547 to apply for this. 4547. Oh, you're so clever, Don. I mean, the ego. That's crazy. That's cult stuff. That's the stuff of cults. There's the Trump Gold Card, right? The Trump Gold Card fast tracks your immigration process. Now, at the time of getting your, at the time of applying for your Trump Gold Card, you pay $15,000 to the Homeland Security fee. You want to apply for this card, the application is $15,000. If you are accepted, you give them another $1 million. That's right, a cool $1 million. Cool mill. $1,015,000 gets you a fast-tracked immigration and a beautiful little card that has Trump's face on it. Trump's face on it, superimposed over the Statue of Liberty and a bald eagle. Classy, through and through. Not kitsch at all. Not kitschy at all. We've got the Treasury Department. They've made plans for a $1 coin bearing Trump's likeness, again, for the 250th anniversary of the United States. Again, another federal law being violated here. Critics are saying it exists, the law permitting currency featuring living presidents. You can't do it. The U.S. Mint said, middle finger to you critics, we're doing it. They're already doing up designs. The Mint is. Great. So the U.S. Mint has been weaponized as well. That's awesome. You've got the Trump-class battleship. Oh, yeah. And on the Trump-class battleship is a giant friggin' picture of Trump raising his fist. That's not kitschy. And you've got the new jet fighter. Oh, yeah, the F-47. Again, just the stuff of cults. The stuff of cults. More to come. We'll see what else he can slap his name on. Absolute national embarrassment. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Go Seahawks. I'll see you guys Monday.